Hi guys, I'm Steph and thank you for checking out my channel. For my program at school, we have to do a lot of networking, applications, and interviews because we have a co-op for our program, and a lot about networking and interviews has to do with your appearance as well. So I wanted to have a makeup look that I thought would be very good for these types of occasions, and I found some difficulty finding like tutorials on YouTube because I feel like everyone's doing these amazing glamorous looks and no one kind of wants to do just everyday makeup, and I don't consider myself good enough at makeup to be doing a tutorial, so I thought a get ready with me would be a great way to show you the look I use for interviews. So because I have really oily skin, I kind of wanted to start off with primering, like a base that was going to be really good for me. So I actually go in with two primers. The first one I go in with is the Benefit POREfessional, just put that on my pores, and then the One Heck of a Blot by Soap & Glory I put in my more oily areas, so my T-zone and my chin. So just when I think about like what types of looks I want for an interview, at least for the program I am in, it's more of a professional program, so I didn't want a look that was going to be too out there. I kind of wanted something that was going to be more, I could still show makeup and still make myself presentable without kind of looking like out of place almost. So if you're going into kind of a professional type career, this is definitely a good look to have for interviews. Something just very natural, but I also think like you want to be comfortable with what you're wearing and make sure that it does reflect you, because I do feel like makeup is such a unique thing and is really a good way to kind of show who you are. So yes, you want to look professional, but you also want to be you, so it's kind of hard to find that line sometimes. And because I do have some breakouts, I like to go in with one of my thicker concealers. So I like to use the Match Made concealer in Calico by No. 7. It's just a stick concealer, so that way I can cover up some of my more red spots before going in with my foundation. And then I just like to blend that out with my finger, because I find that if I blend it out with a wet sponge, it kind of takes away the coverage, which is the whole point of putting on the concealer. So I like to just blend that in a little bit with my finger so it's not so obvious, but it's still, the coverage is still there. For my foundation for this look, I like to use the No. 7 Stay Perfect foundation, and I'm in the shade Calico. When you're going into interviews, you're already so nervous and everything. You want to make sure that you're comfortable and confident. So the reason why I use this foundation, not because it's like it's my favorite foundation and I feel the most comfortable and confident in it. I feel like it looks good on my skin. It's a good match. So if this, I would say for your interview foundation looks like, make sure you're using products you love, you feel comfortable in, and like even use your favorite products so they give you like that little bit of confidence boost. Like I know, like I love this foundation. I think it looks great on my skin. Whenever I wear it, I feel confident in how my skin looks that day. So I think it's really important that when you're going into a situation where you are a little nervous and you want to look your best, it's important to be using products you know you love. So this is just my look, but it's definitely like something you really should be tailoring to yourself, I think, and that's how it'll work best for you. So usually before an interview, I like stay up all night, anxious the night before, so I have these dark circles under my eyes. So I love to go in with a color corrector, and I use the MUA Pro Base Prime and Conceal Correcting in Peach. I find like the darkest spots are like right on the inside of my eye here. Sorry. So I like to go really up in there and bring that down a bit so that I can go in with a sponge and really cover up that darkness, because you definitely don't want to go to an interview looking like you're tired. You want to go in bright-eyed, awake, even if you are haven't gotten much sleep the night before because you've been prepping. You don't want to give any of that away. So I just like to cover that up with the Collection Lasting Perfection Ultimate Wear Concealer in One Fair. And again, like this is, I have a few concealers, but this is my favorite. I feel like it does the best job at brightening up my under eye area. So I like to use the products that I'm most comfortable with in the application method I enjoy the most. And I think like a key with interviews like is being comfortable, confident, and just being yourself, because people, like interviewers, interview so many people, especially if it's a very popular position, so they know if you're not being genuine. they've gone through this so many times. They just want someone who is real. So don't pretend to be someone else because people can see through that so fast. And then just to set my under eye, I use the NYX Finishing Powder in Banana. So this just brings, again, some brightness to the under eye area, because it's all about looking like you're well rested and prepared. And just speaking of preparation, it's very important to actually prepare for interviews. Try to think of questions they might ask you. Just kind of giving some advice within this video. So to set all my makeup, I use the Rimmel Stay Matte. Just because I do have more oily skin, so I definitely want to be going in with a powder that is going to kind of combat that, especially because the more nervous you get, the more sweaty you can get, and I don't want my oils seeping through and looking like a shiny mess. But whatever your skin concerns are, like, that is what you should be catering to. And then going in with the Physcian's Formula Butter Bronzer. This is just such a classic bronzer. I definitely use this the most. Like, I know what I'm getting out of it. So I just like to bring that on my temples, bring it across basically into my hairline so it looks seamless. A little bit here. And then definitely on the jaw and down the neckline so it looks seamless, because you want to show that you can put yourself together and that you aren't just leaving things. You definitely want to make sure you blend a lot, because if people think you don't know how to put yourself together, especially if you're going to a client-facing position type of work, it's not only how do you present yourself, but it's also how do you represent the company. So next I'm going in with the Makeup Revolution blush in Love, and this is just a neutral blush, and any kind of neutral blush will do. Again, I don't want to be going in too crazy with my makeup, so I don't want to be using like a bright pink blush or a bright coral, and I feel like I definitely have a tendency to over apply with blush. So I just like to make sure I have it on the apples of my cheeks so I'm healthy, and then I am, again, blending it back so it looks seamless. And I feel like sometimes I can go a little crazy with the blush, so I just like to take a fluffy brush that doesn't have anything on it and just like really blend everything out so I can pick up some of that pigment so it's not so present. And then depending on the interview, I will sometimes go in with this extra blush, which is the Smashbox Soft Lights Prism. And because this is a shimmery blush, I just like to apply that to the apples of my cheeks a little bit to give myself a little bit of a glow, because I don't love to go in with a highlighter when I'm going to interviews, because sometimes it can look natural, sometimes it can look a little too much, and I don't want to give off, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes glitter and glow can maybe not look the most professional, and that might not be the look I want to give off in my interview. Then brows. Brows are super important, and again, I think it's whatever brow style you're comfortable with is what you should do. If you love a bold brow and that's how you feel confident, like, that is what you should be doing. I'm going to be using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in dark brown. I love a brow pencil. I feel like this is my favorite way to do my brows, and that it just really can give them a nice natural look, because again, when I'm doing my makeup for interviews, I want to look natural. I don't want to look too over the top, so it's important to me that everything kind of goes hand in hand and that everything looks natural. And for me, because I have that scar on my eyebrow, I do find that a pencil works the best for filling that in. All about finding the balance between the image you think they might want to see and being yourself. And I do feel like this makeup look is something I wear when I want a more natural look, so it is definitely very true to me. So I definitely feel like I'm being myself without being too out there. Like, I love my highlighter, but I just, for me and the type of business that I want to go into and the type of field I want to go into, I just don't think that's necessarily an appropriate look. So it's all about knowing your industry and what would be appropriate for that. Next, I have my Hard Candy Brows Now eyebrow gel and highlighter, and I don't really have unruly brows, but if that is definitely an area of concern for you, like, definitely use a brow gel, depending on if my interview is earlier or later in the day, because the way I did it was I had school before my interviews, and then my interviews were at school. So if my interview was in the afternoon, I had school in the morning, I needed my makeup to last all day. and that is when I would go in with this brow gel to kind of make sure everything stuck and hold. But if my interview was like 9 a.m. then this isn't necessarily something I would go in with because I didn't want it looking too much. But even though I said no about highlighting like the cheekbones, I do like to go in with a highlighter just under my brow bone a little bit and blend that out, because I just feel like that does, again, kind of bring like awakeness to the face without looking over the top. At least for me, when I was doing my interviews, like I didn't really have time for eyeshadow, so I just completely skipped that. But if I were to do eyeshadow, I think I would do more of a nothing too dark or heavy. That's how I would go about it. And now I'm just going into my waterline with the Annabelle Beige. So the nude in the waterline like really opens up the eye and makes you look more awake, which is what I am all about throughout this. And then just to tightline the upper lash line, I like to go in with the Annabelle Waterline Matte in brown. I was worried that the black would be kind of too much of a dark contrast. I think the brown is a nice way to do it to get like a good darkness to the eye without it being too much. Brown's a great way to make a eye look less intense for the daytime. And then going in with mascara. And usually like I love huge voluminous lashes, but again, you have to think about what's appropriate for the interview. So I like to go in with the Natural Collection Definition Mascara. I first started using this mascara, I wasn't sure if I absolutely loved it, but the more I use it, the more I'm like, this is the perfect like everyday mascara. It gives my lashes exactly what I want. It darkens them, it gives them some curl, it gives them some length, it gives them like a little bit of volume, a little bit of fluff without being too much. And I just think it's like the perfect mascara for this type of occasion. Just to be yourself, and because especially in an interview, like they're hiring you, not the idea of you that you project. Like you're the one who's going to work that job, and you want to make sure that not only are they trying to find good fit for the position, but you want to make sure that you're a good fit for the position and the company. And if you're not representing yourself accurately, like how do you know it's going to be a good fit? Like if they don't like you for you, then maybe you shouldn't be working there to begin with. Almost last is the lips, and during an interview you are talking a lot, so I was kind of nervous about wearing a lipstick and it kind of rubbing off and me not being able to check it, or if I wore a liquid lipstick and it just like drying off or patching off. I was just like really concerned about that. So for me, I went in with the IT Cosmetics, the Je ne sais quoi Vitality Lip Flush, and this is kind of like a clear lip sticky balm thing, and then the color that goes on, it's supposed to be like your perfect color. So for me, I'm sure you can tell from my bottom to my top, it comes out like this pinky color, but I don't have to worry about it getting anywhere because the product itself has no pigment. So because of that, I felt like I was getting a nice flush to my lips, but if it wore off, it didn't wear off like oddly. It looked good throughout the whole time. And then you want to make sure that you're spraying everything in place. So I like to use the, well, not like, I mean, I don't have more than one setting spray at a time really. So right now I'm using the Insta Fix and Go 2-in-1 primer setting spray, but again, it's just whatever works for you. And then I like to fan myself after to make sure it's all dry. So just spraying it everywhere, because sometimes I got some in my mouth. Sometimes I only spray a little bit and then I realize I have all these dry patches. And again, like I've just put so much powder on, I want it to look like skin and not look like powdery mess. So I like to do that. And then if there's still some areas I think look a little powdery, I might take my sponge and just kind of push those areas in. So I'm just going to change my shirt and I'll be right back. And there you have it. So for me, I like to do my makeup in my shirt that isn't my interview attire, just in case I end up spilling powder all over myself or getting some foundation drops. I know I haven't ruined my interview outfit. So I hope this look helped you guys. And if you have any questions about networking or applications or interviews, I would be so happy to do a video on that. So please let me know if that is something that you're interested in. So don't forget to like this video and comment down below if that is something you'd like to see. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.